Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage. Today we are part 4 of our top end engine rebuild. I'm just buttoning up the gaskets and getting this thing ready for paint. I already did the timing chain cover off camera just because, got to get back in the mindset of the gaskets. I didn't want to be distracted with filming. I'm sorry, I got a new woodruff key. I got, I did RTV, a very thin film of RTV, the gray, on both sides of the gasket. And then torqued it to spec with an inch-pound torque wrench, reusing my timing pointer, even though it's kind of gnarly. Some paint will clean that right up. Now I'm focused on the oil pan gasket. I've got a weird oil pan that's got a double kick out for a dipstick, so I need a special gasket set, so I had to go get another gasket set. And I just got that back, so I'm ready to proceed with that. Let me turn the heater on because it's not warm. I'm bringing you in a little closer than I normally do. Basically, I'm going to put down RTV and then just run the bolts through to hold this in place so it kind of takes the shape I want, and just let it tack up a little bit. Do the end pieces. There's one piece here, one piece here. Then I'll pull those bolts out and pop the pan on. This Optimum Gray from Permatex, I don't know how it stands up, but it's really thick, which makes it like really nice to work with because it doesn't just slosh around. See how it forms like a film? I really like this stuff. Obviously make sure all your surfaces are dry and clean. I did that yesterday. So now I'm just going to grab a couple bolts to hold this in place. You got to kind of stretch it and turn it. Not a lot, mind you. I will say, because of this thing is so viscous, it's a lot harder to get out of the tube. But once it's out, it's a pleasure to work with. This rear seal kind of ticks into these little pockets here, so I'm just going to RTV these here. Okay, now I'm going to do the part that mates to this on the oil pan. Clean the mating surface of the oil pan, and then put RTV along the edges. Just going to try to carefully lower this in place without hitting anything. Looks pretty good. Angle up at the ends. Stupid. Believe it or not, I actually put a cup of motor oil right here so I would remember to dip, because the specs say that you lubricate the threads with motor oil, and it's like the one thing I had to do, and I forgot to do it, so let's just do it now. Depending on, I see two different specs on this, 3 pounds, 3 pound feet and 5 pound feet. Obviously that's not very much. I think I'm gonna do the 5 pound feet just because it sounds better to me. While the oil pan's upside down like this, I'm gonna just prep the bottom side of the motor. Before I do though, I'm gonna go get the spark plugs out of my old heads and just put them in as plugs for the holes. Got the exhaust plug, got the spark plugs plugged, the little water jacket holes in the heads plugged. I'm just doing this to make sure I'm not introducing debris into what is now a clean motor. I'm not going to do like a perfect job. It's not worth it because the heat, the oil, this whole environment, it's, you know, it's going to look good for a long time, but it's never going to look perfect because it's an engine, you know. So, but I do want to do a decent job. Actually the oven cleaner did a really good job of taking stuff off. So it made this whole thing much easier. It took most of the old paint off. Pre-paint prep. I'm going to have to do this again. I'm just doing the rough right now. Okay, we've righted the ship, so to speak. Now we're going to load the lifters, which have now been soaking for 2 days actually. And these just simply drop in the not flat side. The flat side goes down, the not flat side goes up. Now I'm going to drop each of these in here. Weird, man. He's not wanting to go in straight. He didn't machine his head right. Oh man, that is not good, man. Holy smokes. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Wow. How is that possible? Oh my god, that sucks. Yeah, right there. You see that? From like the 6 o'clock to the 9 o'clock position, there's not supposed to be anything in these holes. And there's like a artifact of the machining process, like a nub behind there. This really came at the worst possible time. I've got all my lifters loaded, I've got everything assembled, and now I have to go grind inside the head gasket's on. It's in an awkward location, like I'm really disappointed. I think what I'm gonna do is somehow, I don't even know, I gotta think about it. That's awful. The absolute right thing to do here would be to take the head off, but we're not going to do that. Now, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? What I'm doing now is going through and just tightening the rocker arms just to the point where I still have lash. This isn't, when you're actually doing this for reals, you have to move to each cylinder where both valves are closed and set your lash or adjust your valves. I forget how it's called, but so this will just keep all the rocker arms and push rods in place while I do the rest of my work. Here we are. I've got the motor masked off. I've got the intake manifold. It's not actually on here, it's just there for painting. I haven't bolted it down because I haven't done the gaskets and all that. But I wanted to paint it, get it all done. These are the old style valve covers, so they're not actually fully on, they're just being used for mask. I'm thinking I'll just be able to tip it over, get this side, come back, tip it over, get this side, and then bring it to do the top. And I've got my water pump off camera right there. Happy accident, I took a formula for the paint color that I'd gotten from my paint supplier. I said single stage this, single stage that. He's like, that's a base coat clear coat formula. And I was like, but I don't know how to base coat clear coat. I've never done it before. And so there's another painter there. He was like, dude, it's not a big deal. Just do this, that, and other things. So I was like, all right. So I'm painting my engine in base coat, clear coat. So I'm gonna learn on this motor. It's not gonna be perfect. There's gonna be parts I'm gonna miss, but it's a motor. I'm gonna mask off the rest of the shop, let this heater warm this up a little bit, and then paint time. All right, I've got my epoxy primer shot. It's the water pump and the block looking good. Nice and even all around. Cooking it. Okay, we'll go back outside. Yeah, so I cover up my head with the hoodie because that stuff's really bad for you. You should technically cover your whole face up, but this is about as good as I'm gonna get. So, yeah, I'm just giving it a little extra time to flash because it's cold. Even with the heaters, just give it like 5-10 extra minutes. Don't, you want to give the epoxy time to flash off, then onto the base. All right, check it out. My daughter says she hates Cavalry Blue.
Ugly.
Whoa! It's so ugly.
That's so cool.
Do you like the color?
No, I hate it. It's ugly.
Oh, come on. Okay, well, at least the engine's done in that color. So time will tell if that color stays, but that's the color of the engine. That ain't changing. But what color the Scout becomes, I don't know. It's kind of up in there. I don't think I love it on the engine. I don't know. Let's take the masking tape off tomorrow and see how she looks. See you next time on Matt's Garage.